I don't want to get to the movie yet, but the film we just saw impresses me in terms of the austerity of sound and the moment in which the physician gives Frank and his wife the diagnosis of brain cancer. The camera is still, there's no sound at all, no violin which indicates sadness or other things. It's a long and tense situation and very, very austere. And in this sense, I perfectly recall another film, Halbe Treppe, in which music is really splendid. What does music mean for you in the movies?
So I really like music. I have a big collection of music, and I hear a lot of music, and I have a lot of musicians who are my friends. I'm playing in a band myself with some friends. We are only amateurs. Don't worry, I won't sing. So, but that's, to me, music is very nice because you can express yourself with your stomach, you know. And usually, when I'm making films, I'm always the director. I have to control the things. I'm behind the camera, and so sometimes I like to make music together with friends because you have the feeling that you are creating something together. Yeah? And sometimes filmmaking itself can be a little bit like making music. You can organize a big concert with a big orchestra, a conductor, and of course you have the partitur, and everything is written, and you have to be well prepared to do that. And then you have 80 people in a big orchestra playing together, and it can be great. But there's another possibility. The jazz quintet, for example. 5 people are coming together. They don't know what to do this evening, and they try to create something together. And that can be also wonderful. There's no conductor necessary. They try to find the right tone, and something fits if it works. And then they come together, and it comes from here, straight from your stomach. And it's wonderful to translate that into filmmaking sometimes. This is a kind of jazz quintet, what we did. We were only 7 people on the set, and we tried to figure out how to create this kind of story. And sometimes it's necessary that you have the whole big orchestra. But to come back to your question with the film music, I have sometimes the feeling that in many films we have too much music and too much things which try to overwhelm the audience. Too much noises. It's too fast edited. Too many music which tries to overwhelm the audience. You hear a sad violence, and you have to be sad. That's what the music tells you. Or a sad piano melody, or if it's strong, there's going to be, of course, there has to be tension, and all these things. Sometimes I find it really stupid, and thank you for agreeing. And so film music can be really wonderful. It's a wonderful thing, but the director should control what he does. And so if you take it only because maybe the story is a little bit boring and the scene doesn't work very well, and then you think, okay, as a support, I take some music, write something that helps through the scene. So if the scene does not work without music, it will not work with. So that's first thing, I think. And so sometimes I did that 3 times in 3 productions. Policewoman, Cloud 9, and that film, I worked without any film music, and it's sometimes relaxing. It's like a clear, slow river, and you start to hear again, because if you use something in a movie, there has to be a meaning for that. Why people take music if there's no sense in that, if the meaning for that is only to impress the audience with overwhelming feelings, but it has to tell something for your story. And so in that films, for example, the ticking of the clock in the room where Frank is laying is very important, of course, for the storytelling. It's only a little detail, but it is important. And so I think what we tried to do to free the audience from getting always to be under pressure, and to start to hear again, and to start to see again, and so for the first scene, what you told me, this is a very, very long shot in the first scene. I think it's about 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And no movement, only the focus changes. Yeah? And I was so thankful for the operator, to the operator, because there was this moment, you maybe remember, when the doctor gets the call. Yeah? It happened accidentally, by the way. We were not prepared for that. This was a real doctor, and he did his job in front of the camera. So and in that situation, the actors were confronted with the situation for the first time, me as well. And I did not knew what he will do, and I did not knew what he will say, and I did not knew what will happen. So I gave the control for the whole situation to the doctor. And so what we did, the operator and me, we were only 2 people more in the room, was like making a documentary. We had to follow the situation, and I was really thankful to the operator when the phone call came. It would have been a possibility to make a pan shot to the doctor. Maybe in a TV movie, he would have thought, let's make a picture of the doctor with the telephone. Maybe it helps with the editing, and of course it helps because it's easier to make the scene shorter later. But that's not the point of interest. And the wonderful thing is, I didn't say anything to the operator in that situation, that he didn't make the pen shot, because he had the feeling the most interesting thing is happening in the faces of Frank and Simone, and this is interesting. And of course you hear the doctor speaking. That's enough. But he's not interesting, and for that reason, that became a really great shot to me. When I saw that in the rushes, I was really impressed, because I didn't expect it that it works technically with the focus, because there was no focus puller there, and so we were only 2. But that's what I mean, creating something like a clear river, and to think about, do we need the pen shot really, or isn't that necessary? Sometimes it's more interesting for an audience not to see everything. You have imagination, and it's possible to get into the scene with your imagination. And of course, everybody knows how it looks when a doctor is sitting on a telephone. And on TV, we get used to see everything, and sometimes people start to, I do not know how you're working here, but sometimes people start to work with 3 cameras on the set. Of course, if you have maybe 2 cameras, so to us it would have been easier, because it wouldn't have been necessary to take a decision during the scene, because you have everything. But to me, it seems to be better to take strong decisions during the shooting already. It seems to be better for me. The other way of working is like collecting everything. But I have no opinion. I collect. And then later maybe I will get a decision for that. But for the operator in that situation, it was a strong decision to stay with Frank and Simone and to decide, no, I won't produce a picture with a doctor on the telephone.